It's time for That Was the Woke That Was with Andre Walker.
Hello and welcome to That Was the Woke That Was Coronation Special. We are the show that goes through the wokest stories of the week. We've got an amazing Royal Rumble of a panel tonight. On my teams are Princess Lacey of Bournemouth, Prince Ben of Loughnane. Of course, we normally know him as the Duke of Wigan, but tonight he's Prince Pete. And of course, Queen Elizabeth III, Queen Lizzie. Right, OK, let's get this royal party started. So first of all, to Pete, can I call you Pete?
Yeah.
And Lizzie, can I call you Lizzie?
Lilibet.
OK, well,
Come on.
I'm not calling you that because it's a Meghan Markle question to start with.
Oh.
OK. Meghan Markle has refused to eat the King's coronation quiche, saying it's offensive to vegans.
Oh, do you know what? I think this could be true because I heard on the grapevine Meghan was a bit upset because she thought the quiche was called Lorraine and not.
So is it sexist quiche? Because it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so this is the thing. This could very well be true purely because she's trying to get in the headlines. She's trying to catch any media attention she can now. Because I do feel like she is falling out of favour, not just here in the UK, obviously, but over in America where they've really tried to become celebrities and it's just gone catastrophic. Like, it's been catastrophic for them.
Their popularity has just plummeted
really
downwards.
has.
And I think she's trying to make a headline. She wants to get the attention away from the coronation because, of course, she's not there. And she can't bear King Charles. So she's trying to make a headline out of anything.
But, I mean, come on, guys. She's taken a distaste to everything about this country, especially anything to do with the royal family. So, of course, she's not going to like the coronation quiche that King Charles has put out.
But she's got form on this because she's had problems with being upstaged before, right? I mean, it's just...
No.
It's one thing to be upstaged by a member of the royal family. It's another thing to be upstaged by a quiche.
It's very true.
You know, is that her best competition?
Yeah.
But then I suppose they're both basically inanimate objects. So.
Yeah.
Oh, very
Anything
good.
for a headline, though,
Anything
with
for a
that girl.
headline. No,
And you know what? If it isn't about Meghan, she hates it. And it doesn't care what it's about. It just has to be about Meghan.
We've talked about this before, Lizzie, but I think it is worth pointing out that you are an old friend of Meghan's, and we all make the joke that she ghosted you. What do you think she'll be thinking about the whole coronation?
I think she'll, as I say, want to get the headlines herself. I think there's a reason why she didn't come. I think she should have supported her husband and gone. She should have gone with her head held high. She was worried about the booze, and that is the real reason. It's all about her ego, and that's what she didn't want.
See, I find it really funny you bring up the booze because I actually thought that might have been why she would have come because I thought she might have used that kind of, oh, they were having a go at me to kind of fuel her kind of, oh, they all hate me, they don't like me because of the colour of my skin. Like, she'd have used that kind of situation as to bolster her own PR.
I've just realised something, viewers. You're talking about BOOS, not BOOSE. She was worried about the heavy booze. In America, she's like, my God, you're having a second glass? Oh, get out of it.
B-O-O-Z-E.
But you know what?
Listen. If you can spell booze, you weren't there.
No, but what would worry me if she did go to the coronation, she'd leave her phone on or something and then go, oh, excuse me, Beyonce, in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But as I said, she's got to be about all the headlines.
Do you remember the great story, Lizzie, about when they said she was going out to do the walkabout when the Queen had died? I mean, bear in mind, I've often said about her, look, how many people know their husband or wife's grandmother particularly well, right? How much would you see? I mean, she was trapped in the royal family for about as much time as I've often got trapped wind, right? I mean, it was not a very long period. But then the single tear rolls down her face. You think she's probably only met the woman about 10 times.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's it. And she was obsessed with the royal family from a young age. There's pictures of her outside Buckingham Palace. She apparently had a poster of William on her wall. So, you know, she knew about the royal family. For her to say she didn't know who Harry was. Yeah, she did get the wrong one. But, you know, she was obsessed with them from a young age.
Yeah, absolutely. OK, so is it true or false?
True.
We'll go true.
It is false! OK, I've brought Lizzie Cundy to Pizza in London Bridge. This is my favourite pizza place, Lizzie. You haven't eaten pizza in 23 years.
No, not for 23 years.
Whereas
Have I
I've
had a
eaten one
slice?
every day for 23 years.
I thought
OK,
so,
it's
yeah.
cooking now. It only takes 90 seconds. They reckon, in a controversial move, that the pizza that King Charles would want is one with meat on. Remember, he's gone vegetarian for the quiche, but also they think he likes Italian sausage.
Well, that's it. They're putting on Italian sausage. Would King Charles approve? But I've got a feeling this could be better than his quiche.
Yay! Look at that. Are you pleased that Charles is the king? Come on, you can't get past me.
Yes.
You can't get past me.
Well,
Look at-
absolutely. I love him.
God save the king.
God save the king.
God save the king! Are you pleased that Charles is king?
Charles. Yeah, whatever.
Come on, give us a shove, give us a shove. This one's open. I think it's illegal for us to help. So are you excited about the coronation?
Yes, of course.
Why?
Because the king.
Because I stuck a camera in your face and you felt obliged to say yes.
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so to Princess Lacey and Prince Ben. Do you mind me calling you Ben and Lacey?
Of course, go
No,
for it.
definitely by my title.
Okay. That's not happening.
Not really.
That's not happening. That was a mere courtesy, pal. That was a mere courtesy. OK, The Guardian was slammed by monarchists this week after it showed a picture of King Charles being pelted with eggs. Is it true or false?
Well, you know, Camilla's got to find something to do.
Sorry.
It's not as bad as Prince Harry saying that he got a shard of dog bowl in his buttock, which I've got to be honest with you was one of the less credible stories in a not very credible book.
But correct me if I'm wrong, this is the story from quite a while ago when King Charles got pelted with, I don't know if it was egg or some egg or whatever it was. But I think the guy was actually convicted back in November time.
All right. Just got some of the writing's out of date. Don't give me a hassle.
No, I mean, it's a true story. But no, and the thing I loved about it was, more than anything, was King Charles's reaction. He just basically didn't react. He kept a stiff upper lip and he was like, oh, okay, and then just, rather not.
Yeah. I'll tell you what they've done. They've gone. When somebody tried
That's
to kill
one
him.
of your best.
That is one of your
That's
best.
very good.
When somebody attempted to kill him, he just sort of just messed around with the cup.
But no, that's what I love. It's just don't rise to it, carry on, keep stiff upper lip, and keep.
It's like a
keep
souffle.
plowing on.
It's like a souffle. Don't rise to it. It's
Oh,
an egg joke. It's an egg joke.
you should
But,
scramble that joke.
No, sorry, just really quick on the point of protest, because I know they're expecting lots of all the protests to happen over the coronation and all the rest of it. The one thing I would say that if any group is stupid enough to try and interrupt the ceremonies in any fashion, you are going to set your social cause back 20, 30 years. The public is going to turn on you like you will never see. Because I know there was loads of rumours that things were going to happen at the Queen's funeral and all the rest of it, and thankfully nothing happened.
Yeah,
No, but they are
honestly,
lining up,
they
sadly.
are really lining up for it.
But let's be honest. I mean, that idea of doing the tour with the coffin, which was going to be so important for people across England, because, of course, it did do a tour of Scotland pretty much anyway. People from across England wanted to pay their respects as the Queen's body came past. So but because of the Stink Bomb Rebellion, Extinction Rebellion, personal hygiene joke, they had to fly it instead, which was a great shame, really.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And there's a brilliant interview that Princess Anne has given to Canadian TV. And she talks about this, about how emotional it was to see people lining up the streets. And I think if you're going to try and protest stuff like this, how arrogant and selfish do you have to be to take something away that is so historically important? It means a lot to some people. You have to have a sense of self-righteousness that I don't think even anybody on this panel can quite reach.
No, even if you don't like the royals, it's so disrespectful, and it's such a shame they're going to ruin, everyone
That's
else's
the
day.
thing. I'm all in favour. Your right to protest, free speech, and all the rest of it. But you get there's 365 days in a year. Give us one day.
But equally, Pete, my argument would always be that this is the day when you confirm the head of state of the United Kingdom. If you don't want the head of state to be the king, or you don't want the king to be Charles, that is something to be done in Parliament. It's not something to be protested
Exactly.
about.
But what do they want? They don't want the royals. What do they want? President Corbyn or President Abbott? I mean, imagine that one. That is
going so well in France.
Yeah, exactly.
Republicanism has really achieved something there.
And don't forget how much they bring into this country. It's 1.7 billion. But I actually think The Guardian, to put that on their front cover, is an absolute disgrace. For me, I'll never buy that paper again. And I think they've put off a lot of readers by doing it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. There's a lot of older people that do read The Guardian who are royalists, and I think they've
it's
shot
really
themselves in the
disrespectful.
spot there. I do.
OK, right. Well, I think you've already indicated what the answer is, but OK. The Guardian was slammed by monarchists for showing the king being pelted by eggs. Is it true or false?
True.
It's absolutely true! Let me give you some amazing news on our prize today, because our prize today is actually a copy of The Guardian,
No.
which has been significantly improved by James Whale. Take it away.
You disgust me.
You absolutely disgust me. And you know, if you buy The Guardian, you won't be watching this. You are disgusting and appalling, and I absolutely detest that sort of journalism. I haven't finished yet.
OK, so a ripped-up copy of The Guardian, courtesy of James Whale. That is the prize today. I have to say, the fact you can no longer read it and it's got a little bit of DNA from James Whale has improved the value of it immeasurably. Anyway, so you're fighting here. The Duke of Wigan's really up for this now. OK, so Keir Starmer has pledged to scrap funding for the monarchy if Labour wins the next election. Is that true or false?
Oh, I really hope not.
Well, he does have a history of being very anti-monarchist. There was that video that resurfaced about 3-4 months ago when he was like, I think he was a law student or something like that. He was saying like the country should become a republic and all the rest of it, which I find absolutely ironic because you know, he wants the Labour Party to start being more patriotic and stuff. Yeah, well, you know, leadership starts from the top down, doesn't it?
But you know, what amazes me, Pete, is when you hear about Keir Starmer and people go, "Oh, you can be pro-European and patriotic as well," but none of them are.
None of them are. It's just such a cheap cop-out. It's like how many people get annoyed, but like, say, for example, down Regent Street, they've got all the flags out all down the Mall and stuff, and then yet they say that, oh, that's just like fascist and it's like Nazi Germany. Have you been to any European Union city? You can't move for that flag. It's absolutely ridiculous. The hypocrisy is staggering because these people, in my opinion, aren't serious people. But they're just angry for the sake of being angry, and they just want their own 50 minutes in the spotlight.
Amen to that, brother. I'm getting the applause.
We love that. But Keir Starmer, look, he's a human flip-flop, isn't he? He never makes a decision, and I don't believe he would, because, you know, if he'd get called to see the King, he would go with bells on.
Oh, well, he would,
and he really is a hypocrite.
Isn't he?
And look, let's not forget, you know, there are many that love the royal family. As I said, they bring in such, you know, with tourism, money, 1.7 billion. It's a lot of money to this country.
But let me ask you this, Ben, right? So, I mean, Lizzie's asserted that Keir Starmer's a flip-flopper. I've got a worry, and I don't know whether it's right or wrong, so I'd be interested in your opinion, that actually Keir Starmer is like Tony Blair. He's somebody who wants to change Britain. He's somebody who wants to bring in the European Union. He's somebody who wants to abolish the pound. But, of course, he can't admit any of that. So the reason he flip-flops is because he wants to hoodwink the British public into supporting him, and he just doesn't know quite how to do that.
I'm not sure if that's entirely true. I think you're right that he has those intentions, but I don't think he's anywhere near as intelligent as Tony Blair. So he may have malevolent intentions, but I don't think he'll achieve it. But I don't think he's a flip-flop, because have you ever tried to balance a flip-flop on a fence? You know, and he's been on that fence for a long time.
Yeah, very good.
Ding, ding, come on. I mean, I'll tell you what you can have. You can have the Tudor rose flower. There you go.
And also, he hasn't got the... Oh, very nice. But Keir Starmer has no personality. I mean, he'd love to be compared to Tony Blair, but he's like one of the wooden tops, isn't he, Keir Starmer?
But remember Lacey, Tony Blair, well, actually, you might not remember because you're a bit too young, but Tony Blair rashly pledged to get rid of the Royal Yacht Britannia, and he always said that he thoroughly regretted it ever since, because it was something that went around the world on trade missions and whatever. I just find that, you know, bashing the royal family is such an easy thing for the Labour Party to do, and often they forget about the government element.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for your reference, I was born after the start of his premiership, just to make you feel super old.
Well, let me just stop you all and say that I was born before Margaret Thatcher's president. I'm a Jim Callaghan baby.
I've seen 2 coronations. Oops, no, I haven't.
No, but sorry, Lacey.
No, absolutely. And, you know, it's kind of like the flavour of the month for them to be keeping up these kind of anti-monarch, it's kind of traits, I suppose. But I don't understand where this absolute aggression comes from. You know, the monarchy doesn't receive public funding. It hasn't done since 2011. It's something that it stands alone in its own pride. But it's just so infuriating to continuously see this berating and bashing of the monarchs and everything it stands for.
It is worth pointing out, Lacey, of course, that in 2011, what happened was we moved from the civil list to the sovereign grant.
That's what I'm referring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And in reality, if you were to abolish the sovereign grant, then it's perfectly possible that the king could take back all the property. Yeah. And I think, what does he get, about 10% of what's raised by the Crown estate?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, if you want to go into Labourite, you know, the economic system, they haven't, the monarchs haven't ever been asked to pay. They don't have to pay income tax, rather, but they always have done ever since Queen Victoria. You know, they're doing something to help out the government for their own volition.
But just to provide some balance on this, I think, you know, it would be a good idea to take some of that money and spend it on things like, you know, diversity and inclusion train.
Oh, yeah.
God.
We could plug in some money into HS2 to get absolutely
Yeah.
wasted. So just think what we could do if we
No,
did
we could
that.
just stick the Royal train on HS2. See what happens. It's chugging along.
It's very interesting what Lacey brings up there about having to keep hearing these same kind of tropes from kind of those who wanted more of Republic-style UK. But I actually put most of the blame on this on those who are in favour of the monarchy, because for a long time they've been able to coast with because the Queen's been around, and it was after the death of the Queen. I think a lot of people were just like, oh, wait a minute, how do we argue keeping the monarchy? Because they've not really had to do it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think they're now starting to see a lot more pushback than they were expecting.
Absolutely.
And it'd be interesting to see how it folds out.
There was a fantastic poll that came out this week. You know, last year, Prince Charles's popularity was around 30%. Now it's rating around 60%.
Yeah.
So, you know, people are just far more accepting. Of course we were going to, you know, grieve and bereave for our late Queen. But, you know, his popularity is coming round. Why aren't Labour?
Yeah,
I
exactly. And you know what? King Charles, he's had the longest apprenticeship, hasn't he, for this? I mean, how long has it been? And he's going to be a great king for us.
I find it funny to say this, but they often say the person with the hardest job in the royal household was Patrick Kyle, whose son Jeremy works for us. And that's a really weird way of saying things. But he often said that the problem with the Queen was that she was so good at the job it would be almost impossible to follow her.
Yes.
Which, of course, we will find out in the fullness of time. But anyway, has Keir Starmer said that we should abolish funding for the royal family? Is it true or false?
I think it's probably true.
Yeah, let's go true.
It is false! There we go. It's a real battle today, isn't it?
It is.
Anyway, so Samantha Markle has claimed Harry and Meghan have a toxic relationship in an interview she's given. Now, I personally think that everyone in the Markles is toxic to an extent, particularly the one that sells cannabis.
Yeah.
Did she also come out and say the sky is blue and bears going to the woods to relieve themselves? It's not exactly a revelation, is it? I suppose the only story is the fact that it's her own sister saying it. We all knew it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Half sister at that.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
They like to go on about how the relationship isn't the best. But no,
Do they actually know each other?
well, you know, maybe once they met in passing. But, you know,
Who are you?
honestly, I just find it ridiculous. I don't think any good comes out of this family at all. So why are we surprised? I mean, be it true or false, we could believe it to be either.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But isn't Samantha suing her because apparently she was just rewritten out of Meghan's life, and actually the father paid for her schooling, was really supportive, and they did have a family life.
What I find extraordinary about that, and I think it was Mike Graham that was talking about it, she was suing her for like 60 grand or something, and you think, I'm not being funny. I mean, you'd be better just asking for the 60 grand.
It's cash to them, isn't it?
But you think Meghan would just pay it so she'd go
go
away.
away,
But you
yeah.
know, she wouldn't let her. You know, and remember that she turned up before at Buckingham Palace, and they, you know, Meghan has just totally ignored them. And what she should have done is just bring the father over, tell him how it's done, give him a nice scone, cream and jam tea, and you know, worked it out.
By the way, you're saying scone. Some people say scone. I've noticed the stone of Scone is also spelt S-C-O-N-E. Right?
Oh, and jam or cream first.
I'm cream then jam.
It's got to be cream then jam, hasn't it?
Yes, thank you. I agree.
I don't know which one that belongs to though.
Devon.
Yeah, that Devon.
Oh, you're from Devon? No, you're from
No,
Dorset.
Dorset, nearly on good. Yeah,
Nearly.
just a little bit of racism there. Don't worry about it.
But you know, what was the worry with Meghan? We look at the wedding, only one family member going to her and Harry's wedding.
Although in defence of Meghan, I mean, all of the family members, she doesn't know that well, does she?
Yeah.
Well,
No, actually, there's no defences.
There's not really, is there?
When you've got, I mean, somebody told me she'd even fallen out with the Mulrooneys, whose little boys did the page boy thing of the wedding. So you think. So literally, she's fallen out with her entire family. Doria Ragland, apparently, her mum is still friends with her, but now no longer lives in Windsor. Interesting. And of course, the Mulrooneys have fallen out with her as well. She's sort of sat on her own, going, "I could have been a contender."
Yeah, but do you remember in her interview that her and Harry did, the documentary, and they had the niece that they just got friends with, and she hoped she was going to go to the wedding, then finally, you know, she dropped her.
I mean, the whole family itself is beyond childish. I just want someone to scream at them, grow up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, Lacey, I'll tell you what. Why don't you do that to the camera now?
Which
Go
one
on,
am I on?
get the
Number
camera.
4?
Get the camera. Get number 4. There we go. Come on,
Like
Lacey.
4 or 5. Hang on, that one. There we
There you go.
Grow up, Markles, grow up.
No, that's not the way to do it. You've got to go. This is a message to every member of the Markle family. Come on, grow up.
Very good.
Very good. There we go.
Oh, I feel manly.
Oh, you feel better after that, don't you?
Quite therapeutic, that.
As I always say, better out than in. Okay, so
Just like Meghan Markle.
Nice one.
do you know? It's just we're flying because of this coronation. Absolutely flying. Okay, Samantha Markle has claimed that Harry and Meghan have a toxic relationship. Is it true or false?
True.
Yeah.
True.
It is true.
That was The Woke That Was continues after the break. Welcome back to That Was The Woke That Was.
Animal Rebellion has demanded that King Charles renounce his ownership of all swans in England and Wales.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? He will compromise King Charles with this. He said he'd give his signet ring.
Oh,
Do you know
brilliant.
something? I know something.
Goodness sake.
I think it's I forget which livery company it is, but I think it's the Worshipful Company of Watermen who go out and count all of the swans with the royal household every year. Do you know, my mate, when he was Mayor of Windsor, went out and joined them. He said, and he's from Yorkshire, he goes, it was the most boring thing I've ever been to. I had to sit in a boat for 4 hours as they counted and tagged all these bloody swans.
Oh,
Can I
That's
pose a bit
amazing.
of a basic argument? I mean, you know, they used to infamously, in the Tudor time, eat the swans. Then they took ownership of them, and the numbers in the swan population absolutely skyrocketed.
Yeah, they did.
So why is this now? Why are they against the
Because
swans?
I've got to say to you, I'd love to have a dinner with a swan.
Yeah.
I want big.
She's
long-
sitting right over there.
I'm here, darling.
Chew
I
on
am
the neck.
here.
I'll tell you though, one thing. Anyone who lives near swans, they've got a bad attitude.
Oh, they're angry.
yeah,
They're
nasty.
aggressive.
They
Let
can
me
break a
tell you.
man's
Break a man's arm. isn't it? That's-
I-
Oh, with the neck.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true, but that's what everybody always says.
No, I'm by the
true.
River Thames. They chased me once.
I'm gonna
I
say,
was
it's
scared.
not just swans that the royal family own, is it? It's dolphins and whales in English and Welsh waters.
As in Wales, the country.
No, just Wales, the country.
As in
That is also
James
true.
Wales.
Yeah. But no, like they actually, like it's in open waters and all the rest of it. It's quite interesting, all this kind of what the royal family actually owned and like what, you know, what they have an investment in and all the rest of it.
But who are they to tell King Charles what to do?
Wow.
Who are they to tell
who are
anybody
they?
what to do? That's more of the
Seriously,
problem.
I've just had enough of them, totally. No.
Oh,
Just ignore them.
Because also with this group, aren't these the ones that would say that they were going to go after the horses that were involved
Yeah.
in the coronation? And like, I know the Countryside Alliance picked up on this, saying that they were going to become a threat to the security and safety of actual animals whilst there.
It amazes me. I mean, it may surprise you to learn that I go to Royal Ascot. I've even got the top hat. They wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me wear that because they're going to let me put it on now. Okay. The problem is, I only realised, viewers, after I bought the gold waistcoat, what I looked like.
Oh, I didn't know the fat control
Oh
Tom
my
Kang
word.
today, ladies and gentlemen.
Bravo.
Very good.
Joe said Thomas as he rolled
Oh my
into the
goodness,
station.
look
Right,
at you.
I thought that looked.
I like it.
I thought it looked boo-shank. But,
Yeah.
but okay, right. So I'm just going to ask the question now because I'm so offended. Right, okay. Animal Rebellion have demanded that King Charles renounce his ownership of all of his swans. Is it true or false?
I guess false.
It is, in fact, false. I absolutely guarantee you that that's going to be one of those that by next week is true. But as it stands today is false. Okay, so they've now got off the mark. So to Prince Ben and Princess Lacey. A campaign group called Republic has taken action to ban coronation lessons being taught in schools across England. Is that true or false?
Well, I mean, it's obviously going to be true, isn't it? These people are completely insane. They just want to get rid of anything to do with the monarchy. That this organisation basically spends their time just tweeting, the monarchy's really bad, and that's it. I don't know who they are or why they feel so. If you hate the monarchy, just ignore it. It doesn't affect your life at all.
I can't. I'm not a maths professor, but you know something? If you think about it, they go, having a monarchy means that you can't become the head of state. If we had a republic, your likelihood of becoming the president or king or whatever you want to call it would go from 0 to 68 million to 1. That is like winning the lottery twice.
exactly.
Right? It's not very likely, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, the reason why this story mainly doesn't surprise me. Of course, they'd want to stop all knowledge of the monarchs, educating young people, because then they'd learn how wonderful they are. I mean, they just want to curtail all information to, censor what they actually believe and think.
But if you look at what's happened to the House of Lords in terms of hereditary, and I hate to be a bit dull on this, but if you think about it, first of all, inheritance tax meant they had to give away their estates. So no longer were the local lords actually living in the area in the way the Downton Abbey show depicts. Then they said, well, let's have life peers instead. Then they decided not to appoint any new hereditaries. And then they sort of go, well, none of the hereditary peers represent the areas they're from anyway. Let's get rid of them. And there's just that incremental process. And I just wonder whether that'll happen with the monarchy.
I'm just wondering, if they do get rid of the coronation classes, will they still teach about Prince Albert in sex education?
I'm told he had to strap it to his leg because it was unsightly in trousers. Anyway.
No, but it's so important. We've had 350 years of this wonderful institution, if not more. And, why are they trying to erase it? Why?
350 years, by what standard?
I'm going to say it's a little longer than that.
Of the current house?
Yes, of the current.
Yeah.
But why trying to erase it? It's like,
And I think this is why. And I think it's because this kind of Republic group is very kind of endemic of our current society, is that we're very whatever is easier now. The thing about the royal family and the monarchy in general is it's long distance.
Yeah.
It's like it's about stability over time. The thing is, these kind of groups of like Republic just look at what can we do right now. It's very short-term thinking, and I think this is where they're getting everything really wrong. And the great advantage of monarchy, a constitutional monarchy anyway, is that stability over time.
But without being funny, Pete, can I just ask you, as somebody who watches this sort of thing, is there not a danger in saying that, OK, we don't like the monarchy, but we are going to fail to teach children about the constitutional system they live in because we don't like it? Well, actually, that to me, first of all, seems like a high road to nowhere, but I can see all sorts of practical problems with that.
100%. And I mean, I've been a big advocate of kind of like proper citizenship lessons about how our country actually works.
Subjectship.
Subjectship. But also, like, not just in terms of like how the monarchy works, but also how our government works, how Parliament works, and how our elections work. The number of times I have to explain to people, you don't vote for the Prime Minister.
No.
It's absolutely staggering to me. And obviously we're political people, but honestly, like, just general people on the street don't understand the very basics, and I just find it really bizarre.
Pete spent a very long time in Richmond, North Yorkshire, where he said, you don't vote for them. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, how many people have you persuaded not to vote for Rishi Sunak?
I know, exactly. But they don't understand the process either. No. That's the trouble. And I had to interview one of these protesters saying he's not my king. And he said, well, I don't think he should be the king. And I said, but that's the way the system works.
But we should always be wary of people trying to censor history in any way, shape or form. I mean, where does that lead us to in our growth, in our development, if we don't learn about the past? Be it like it or loathe it. We always need to know about where we've come from.
But we can manage to do, and I know I always talk about it, but I'm so offended by it. We can do the drag story hour, but we can't do the story of our history. I mean, I got very upset. I had a friend of mine who was in the Olympic opening ceremony in 2012, and I have to say it was very, very good. But it was a history of the labour and trade union movement. It wasn't a history of Britain. And I always thought that, I was expecting the Tudors and the Stuarts and all that sort of thing in it, but people, they're not interested at the left. They just want to talk about, and by the way, Danny Boyle did a good job, but they just want to talk about the NHS. They just want to talk about forging solidarity, trade unionism and all that.
Yeah.
But if we didn't have the royal family, as I said before, what do they want? Do they want a president? A President Rishi?
It would be President Blair, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In reality.
But just interesting, you bring up the Olympics, and we see it all the time over the last couple of weeks, is people complaining about the cost of the coronation and everything.
God.
These are the same people that complained about the cost of the Olympics and now go around saying London 2012 was the best thing this country ever did. Again, it is people looking for attention, and this is just the easiest thing to latch on to. In about 3 months' time, none of these people will even care.
I'll tell you what, the people who are complaining about the extra bank holiday, I hope they're all going to work, aren't they, instead of doing a lovely day off.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they'll take that part.
Exactly.
We'll take that part,
Always on the take.
I'm going for a barbecue in central Windsor. I've been invited. No, it's a different house. OK, so I've got to ask you, oh, come on, why am I even asking this question? Has Republic jumped on the bandwagon and tried to ban lessons about the coronation? True or false?
Of course they have.
100%.
It is absolutely true! mutiny of noise.
That was The Woke That Was. Continues after the break. Welcome back to That Was The Woke That Was.
Meghan Markle has just signed. Oh, stop it. She's a member of the royal family.
No, she's not. She's not.
Isn't.
I'll put the hat on. OK, listen to the question before you moan. Meghan Markle has just signed with a major Hollywood talent agent who represents Rihanna and The Rock. Now, I've got to say about Rihanna, I have to call Rhiannon, which is... it's Rihanna and The Rock.
Rihanna. Well, I do know a bit about this, and I'm afraid she has. For the girl that said she wanted privacy, didn't want to be, you know, the attention, hates the press. Yes, she has gone. And they're like the Max Clifford back in the day, who will stop...
Well, just make everything up.
Make everything up. Yeah, well, it'll put the good stories out there, probably the ones that aren't true, and stop any bad press. And this is what she wants. But this is another step closer for her to have more press, more headlines, and I think to go for that political career which she wants.
Lizzie, have they set up a rival house? I mean, if you think about it, the last king, King Edward, attempted to do that, but he was so discredited because of the way that he'd met Adolf Hitler and so on and so forth. But actually, he did want to set up a sort of rival court. All these people will leave the royal family, but then want back in. Are they just money grabbers, or do they actually represent a challenge to the constitution and the governance of this country?
Yeah, well, I think they're money grabbers, I'm sorry to say. And Meghan, as we said previously, her popularity, reputation is actually in tatters. And she thought she could make it in the US. She's had to do this because they are plummeting. And she's actually quite upset with Harry because of his book, and it hasn't helped her own brand.
Yeah, OK, well, look, we've talked a lot about Meghan today, so let me just ask, has she signed with a major Hollywood agent? Is it true or false?
I'll go with
It's true.
It's absolutely and unfortunately true. Oh, there we go. Now, I've heard a lot of things about the King being a little bit uppity, but this, I hope, is false. OK, King Charles does not squeeze his own toothpaste.
Well, again, Camilla has to do something.
No, I love Camilla. That's not.
What's Rod Hull doing these days? Oh, it is the Camilla.
I mean, you just got to question sometimes where these stories come from. I mean, you know, if you've got someone inside the palace, why on earth would they be reporting on it? So I pray that it's true. False.
I think it is true, because have you seen him try to use a pen? He just gets so frustrated with the most basic
Yeah, but
tasks.
have you seen his big chubby fingers?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you also noticed that after that particular photo came out, he always stands with his hands behind his
Yeah,
back
he
in
does.
every photo.
They are like
Absolutely.
sausages.
Yeah, if he tries to squeeze the tube, it will go flying.
But he does love to have lots of toothpaste. Apparently, he likes the Royal Mint.
Although, to be fair, maybe this story's not as bad as it sounds, because I imagine they just leave a little bowl out of all the items he uses. I mean, I can't imagine he's there with his Gillette just going... It's going to be...
The crux of it is, who cares? I mean, come on. Like, why is it? This shouldn't be in any way.
But I would quite like someone to do that.
Story.
Yeah, if I were king, I would have a toothpaste squeeze.
Yeah, everybody would.
Oh, listen, if I was king, I'd still have the royal bottom wiper.
Yeah.
Right? Which apparently was a very, very good job in the old days.
Yes.
Because, of course, the Privy Council were the only people who were allowed to go to the toilet with the king, and lots of things were discussed there in private. Yeah. The Privy Council today still is conducted standing up in honour of the fact they used to go to the toilet with him.
There was a king once who died in the toilet, wasn't there?
Yes.
There was a king, I think it was a Norman
Elvis
king.
Presley.
No.
Elvis Presley.
Someone climbed into his toilet and then shot him up the arse, I believe.
Yeah.
And there was another king
you
that
are.
killed his wives, but we won't talk about it.
No, Henry VIII's body unfortunately exploded in the coffin.
Very true.
Well, that's
Nice.
Yeah.
But there are lots of stories about... was it Prince Charles that used to have a toilet seat? He used to travel with a toilet seat as well.
Yeah.
That one. That, you know,
That's
that-
true.
He has
Even
a toilet.
Madonna did as well.
He has a toilet seat taken with him and screwed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
I
has
don't know
black
whether that was
toilet
actually
paper.
true or
Did you
not.
know that? Black toilet paper.
That's
apparently.
not true.
Was that at the back
Apparently.
of the Portaloo?
Poor Portaloo. Oh.
And it was and his toothpaste is Crest.
The joke's
Sorry.
just right
Okay,
themselves.
I'm sorry. We've got to stop this.
This is a mockery.
Talking to Lizzie is like opening up one big Christmas cracker, a coronation special. Okay, come on. So, does he squeeze his own toothpaste? Is it true or false?
He probably doesn't squeeze his own tooth.
I think it's true that he doesn't.
Yeah.
He
same.
doesn't. It's true.
Yay! There we go.
has been 21 for the past 60 years. Oh, no, I'm only joking. But it is, in fact, her birthday today, and we're going to now sing happy birthday. Get your flags ready.
Yay.
Come on with the cake. I'm going to get the cake. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Come on, just get your hand.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
birthday
to you.
Hip, hip, hooray!
Thank you so very much. What can I say? What a lovely surprise. Thank you, darling.
Princess Diana once snuck into a gay bar with Freddie Mercury, dressed as a man. Sorry, Diana was dressed as a man. Freddie Mercury was a man.
Yes. Well, I know a little bit about
Yeah.
this because she was known for, like, playing tricks and
Yeah,
dressing
she
up.
was, yeah.
And she did this on the night of Fergie's, you know, I think it was actually Andrew's stag do, wasn't
Was
it? And
it?
they
Oh,
dressed
yeah.
up as policemen.
Yeah, this is one of these stories that you kind of you hear on the great, like, people talk about, but
Yes.
I have to. But this is the thing with Diana, wasn't it? That she always. She was quite cheeky. She did always have these quite fantastical stories.
Yes.
She was like not afraid to kind of mix royalty with celebrity culture.
Exactly.
And all the rest
And
of
she
it.
was very... You enjoying my cake?
Yeah, do you?
But the fact is, with
We're
Diana...
trying to do a quiz here, Andre.
Diana was very carefree, fun, a great sense of humour. What a shame Meghan couldn't have taken a leaf out of her book,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Meghan had all the opportunity to be the next Diana. And, you know, and it's such a shame.
No.
So, to Prince Pete and to Queen Lizzie, this is the question about Diana. Did she secretly go to a gay bar dressed as a man?
True.
It is absolutely true! OK, Prince Harry has rejected plans to rename Heathrow Airport after him.
I don't know if anyone would want to fly from an airport called Whinging Narcissist Airport.
Oh, I tell you what, you could have. You could have Spare Force One.
Bravo, bravo.
But the thing
you
is,
go. I'll
with
go
that,
home
it would only do one way. It would be a runaway.
I kind of miss the old Prince Harry, the nation's lad, as I always used to call him. You know, he was the one that said the thing you weren't supposed to do. He got himself into loads of trouble.
Yeah.
And then he obviously got very admirably in Afghanistan, and then he got involved in the Invictus Games and all the veteran stuff. And I thought, do you know what? This is a guy who's kind of found his bit now, and I thought he was going to really go down it. And then obviously that all got blown up when he got married to Meghan.
And he used to look happy.
He
used
did
to
used
look
to look
fun.
happy. He
And
really did.
And now he looks like a miserable,
But you look,
whinging.
you look at him the way when she went, I did the curtsy like this.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you think, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And, like, he's looking as if to say, you're mad, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And
It's
then
that,
she looks
what
at
are
him
you
and he
doing?
goes,
It's a worry. He doesn't seem like the old Harry at all.
No.
Like a different
No.
person. Come back, the old Harry.
So, OK, are they going to rename Heathrow Airport HRH Prince Henry of Wales Airport?
Oh, come on.
For all of our sanities, I hope not. Should
No,
we go false?
no, false.
It is false!
Yay!
That was The Woke That Was, continues after the break. Welcome back to That Was The Woke That Was.
Michelle Obama was nearly escorted out of Buckingham Palace in 2009 when she touched the Queen whilst being photographed with her.
Well, I don't know. Didn't Trump do this when he was...
so
he,
this has
do
been
you
a thing
remember?
that Americans, because Americans are a little bit more like touchy-feely, like a bit more huggy than we are. I remember this happening because I remember the press went mental over this because, you know, obviously Michelle Obama is very tall, the Queen was not very tall, and they were like, oh, did she get hurt or anything? I was like, the posing round a photo. Now, whether she nearly got escorted out, I don't know. But I do remember the White House having to put out a very staunch, we are really sorry for breaking royal protocol.
To get escorted out, it's a bit
Yeah, it's a
severe.
bit severe.
I don't think she would have been
I always like
escorted
the
out.
story that I always used to tell the Queen that, do you know why obviously people would shake her hand and everything? Like what she used to do is like shove your hand back because people used to like do this and like didn't know when to end the handshake. So she just used to give you your hand back.
More
Take
than
the hand.
anything,
You're not allowed to ask the Queen a question.
No, yeah.
I tell you what, I like the codes that she does as well. So when she moves her handbag, that means she wants to move on, and she's got all these like kind of discrepancies.
I like
and,
the Lewis Hamilton story where he's the first time he's ever been to Buckingham Palace. Palace, and like obviously the Queen's at the head of the table, and Lewis Hamilton's next to her, and she goes, no, you speak that way, I'll speak this way, and then we'll meet in the middle.
That's right.
That's great.
So they do each course. They do a different
side,
don't they?
yeah.
Because funnily enough, my friend, who's a very nice Pakistani gentleman, was sat next to the Duke of Edinburgh, and he thought he's right racist. This bloke. he's not said a word to me. He goes, no. I talked to you during the main course.
I talked to you in the main course.
Because there are those
There are
really
the-
weird rules.
They
aren't
have
there?
got real. But I actually went to Buckingham Palace for a garden party.
I heard the rubbish.
And I was a bit naughty. I stole a pepper pot.
Oh.
I know.
You get in
I put
trouble
it-
for this
and
now.
I could
They
have
send
been
you
es-
letters.
Yeah, I thought I would be escorted out.
Yeah.
But
So
no.
you should have been escorted out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called theft.
And I won't tell you where I put it. I won't tell you where I put
The
it.
infamous one.
So what?
No, I did. It's a true story.
The infamous.
Well, it's lucky you've not told everyone on the TV.
yeah.
Good job you're keeping it to yourself. Yeah.
No, but a lot of people that visit the palace take a little something.
Yeah.
No, but so now the infamous one is stealing the toilet roll, and now because they count them so rigorously, you now get a letter in the post saying, "Please, will you return it?" Because you're simply not allowed to take anything from
Yeah.
this establishment.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Sorry, Lacey.
Yeah.
That's not true. Is
That
it?
is true. Look it up.
I'm
It's
going to
absolutely
take
true.
some toilet roll from.
No. You're allowed to take a little bit because they'll just assume you're a bit excessive, but not the whole roll itself.
So Michelle Obama, was she escorted out?
I don't think.
I don't think
she
so.
was escorted out.
No, false.
False.
I think it'd be very difficult to escort any First Lady from anywhere. But you're saying it's false.
False.
It is, in fact, false. Okay. Is it true that King Charles is related to Vlad the Impaler?
I mean, all the royals are related
Yeah.
somehow, aren't they?
Yes.
They're all part of the same family, so
Yeah.
presumably.
Well, there's a bit of correlation there if you think about it. Vlad the Impaler related to Dracula, and that's where that comes from. And infamously, King Charles doesn't have garlic in
Oh.
the Buckingham Palace, does he?
By the way, just to clarify something on history,
Yes.
Vlad the Impaler is Count Dracula.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Count Dracula.
And do you know something else about him? He was so severely anemic that his face went completely white, his gums began withdrawing, and he had to drink animal blood raw in order to try and get an amount of iron into his blood
And that's-
to kill
Yeah,
it.
that's
but
That is
as,
the
as,
reason.
as they
And King
say,
Charles has
obviously,
fangs.
they hate garlic. King Charles doesn't have garlic. I mean, there we
It
go.
could
We've
be.
solved
It
it.
could be.
Conspiracy theory right here.
Taylor. Well, I think he's going to. I think it could be true because he's going to impale Andrew, isn't he? He's not giving him any money, and he's marching him out of his house. He's got to go to Frogmore.
But let's not get into this, but Prince Andrew has cost a lot of money recently to the royal family. And now he's literally saying, we paid that big payoff, I shouldn't have done it. Well, you can't get it back, son, right?
No, you
And-
can't.
No, but going back to what Benjamin said there about all the royal families being related, this is one of the most fascinating things about history. It's just the interconnectivity of that
aren't
period
we-
of
but
history.
Pete, aren't
I
we-
think it's amazing.
Queen was related to Muhammad.
Oh, the Queen was
Yeah.
related
In
to
fact.
Prince Philip.
They're all Germans.
Yeah,
aren't
true.
they?
They
No,
were married.
No. The Queen was not related to Prince Philip. The Queen was related to Prince Philip twice.
Yeah.
And also, let me tell you, King Charles is the first British monarch to be descended from Queen Victoria via both parents.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
There
I'm
you
surprised
go.
he hasn't got a big cyclops on.
Yeah.
But I did know about Romania. Do you think I know about the links with Germany, Scotland, all the other? Don't know about this one.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Well, it's not your question.
Yeah, look at it.
You're included.
Well, go.
By the
Go
way,
on,
thanks
decide.
for that tip.
You decide.
I don't
What do
know.
you reckon?
It's got to be true.
You think?
All the royals are related, aren't they? Somehow. And if you say false, then I will go and dig up the
Well,
lineage and find out.
the only question, therefore, for bonus points, right? We'll take your question, but we'll also ask everybody for a bonus point whether Danny Dyer is related.
William the
Did
Conqueror.
you see King Charles when he goes,
yes.
"Oh, I understand one of my relatives, Daniel Dyer, is here." do you know what nobody's told Danny Dyer, by the way? How many people in the East End of London are descended from the monarchy? Basically all of them. Okay, so is King Charles related to Vlad the Impaler?
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
We'll go for it.
True.
Absolutely true! Thank you so much to my wonderful teams tonight. Princess Lacey, Prince Ben. Oh, I'm still calling him the Duke of Wigan. I don't care what anyone says. And Queen Elizabeth, Queen Lizzie, who's going to do a little wave. Right, well, it has to be said. I'm going to embrace the horror. I'm going to go away now and sort out the rail union.
Now that's what I call woke.
She's always a person with a cervix to me.
44 smash hits, now with more inclusive lyrics.
Man, I feel gender fluid.
Iconic tunes updated for the modern listener.
Love is to the left of me, vegans to the right. Here I am, stuck on the M1 with you. Things can only get greater.
I want to know what a woman is.
Here in my car, I am killing the earth with my toxic exhaust. It's a selfish way to live.
No trigger warning required.
Oh, the wokey cokey. Whoa, the wokey cokey. Oh, my little Europhile, my Europhile. When you gonna follow me back, Ramona?
Now that's what I call woke. Not streaming now.